They have to give me that ID. They be mad. They just be mad about anything that I make them have to do the work. But the crazy part about it is what y'all don't realize or y'all might not be aware of is the fact that we can get fined if our paperwork is not in order. We have this thing called due diligence that the IRS have opposed on us. And what due diligence is when you come in a tax company and you claim independence, you want to get the education credit, you trying to get the EIC credit, the child tax credit, whatever those credits are. Based off the rules for those credits, as tax pros, we are supposed to ask you additional questions or questions in reference to those credits to make sure that you qualify for those credits. Not only that, we are supposed to retain records that shows that you actually qualify for those particular credits. And if we are selected for a due diligence audit, the IRS can fine us up to $2,000 per file. That means per person. Most taxpayers, a lot of times, have EIC, head of household, and child tax credit. Those three credits is usually on not the majority, but a lot of taxpayers' tax return. And if all those credits on your tax return, and we have not asked you additional questions, or we have not retained the records for you to be approved for those credits, if the IRS select us just like they select y'all for audit, they select us for due diligence audit, then we literally get fined up to $2,000. And most returns we can get fined up to $1,500. And believe it or not, because tax pros do not talk about it enough, a lot of tax pros are out here getting fined $99,000, $100K, because they don't ask you the questions, because they don't retain records, and they're not following their due diligence. So if your tax pro is asking you for a particular records, it's not because they want to just give you a hard time, right? It's because we have to protect our livelihood and our business from being shut down and from being fined. Somebody getting fined $50,000, $99,000, $100,000 can put them out of business quickly. And believe you me, just like y'all get audited or get selected for audits for your tax returns, the IRS do select us for audits for due diligence. I've been selected several times. Thank God I have passed all of mine. And it ain't too many preparers that can say that. You know, so luckily I've passed all mine. I haven't been fined. But when I talk to those IRS agents, and I ask them questions in addition to, like, you know, what can I do better, blah, blah, blah. No flex. They be telling me I'm good. They tell me all the time, like, it's too many people that's not in my industry doing what I do, which I don't understand that either. But they'll tell me, like, they get people for $99,000, $100K, and it's easy to get those fines. And if you're a tax pro and you watching me, they are doing more due diligence audits. Now they was doing some, of course, over the years, but they're ramping that up as well. That's why they hire all those agents, not just for the taxpayers, but for us tax pros as well. And then you have to know that they want to fine us. So nobody's trying to get a fine for you all. So you got to help us help you, but also help us to help ourselves when your tax preparer is asking you for particular documents, or your tax preparer are asking you particular questions. It's not that we want to ask you these questions. It's because we're required to ask you these questions. And a lot of tax pros don't ask questions, but guess what? That's why, if you notice, like when you get your tax return and you look down on page 2 of the 1040 and you look at the bottom and your tax preparer change their name every single year. The reason why they change their name every year is because they've probably been fined or banned from preparing taxes. because these audits really do happen. Nobody don't talk about it because they're scared to tell people that they get audited. But unfortunately, it's not an audit. It's just like if you do hair and the people at state board come in your office, the same way the IRS do us. So you got to make sure, like when you're going into these tax companies and you have a tax pro that are asking you for your documents, that you're actually giving them your documents. And why we get selected really be y'all fault. A lot of times, because most of y'all don't qualify for these credits that you qualify for, because you think you qualify for them, but you're really not meeting the test for them. So, for instance, we can get